And we are joined today by Montesano, who's a visiting research fellow at the Institute of Southeast Asian Studies. He joins us from our Singapore studios this morning. Good morning to you, Michael. Let's get to the situation in Thailand. It's getting scary, isn't it?
Well, it's been scary for quite some time, and violence in the middle of Bangkok is, of course, always a frightening prospect.
Okay, but, we have, again, another death. In fact, we have the army now opening fire on the protesters. That's a major escalation, don't you think?
Well, we have to bear in mind that it's not entirely clear what happened last night. There was a brief exchange of fire, but this clearly wasn't an attempt on the part of the army to go in and clear the streets entirely. Surrounding the protesters, as of this morning, seems to remain their main strategy.
Okay, so what do you think about this new tack from the government with the protesters? I mean, are they trying to signal something, that they're going to take a harsher line, at least?
There's no question they're trying to signal that, but I actually think the most important development of the past 12 hours has been the broadening of the state of emergency to cover large stretches of rural Thailand. The government is clearly worried that whatever happens in central Bangkok will trigger a much broader pattern of unrest through areas that are very loyal to the red shirts, that is in the north and northeast of Thailand. And that, I think, is where things really get scary and where the grip of the Thai government begins to be very shaky. At 9:30, you're going to interview Thailand's finance minister, a man who spent far more time in the United Kingdom than he has in the northeast of Thailand. And I really suggest that you ask him how his government plans to exercise its writ of authority in the northeast of Thailand after a crackdown in central Bangkok.
Okay, that's noted, Mike. Let's talk about what the government is doing right now. How about that, and what Abbasid is doing? I mean, for instance, he's calling off these elections. He did say, yeah, let's do an election on November 14th, but that's been rescinded now. Why do you think he made that move, and was it an error?
Well, it's hard to call it an error. Abbasid is under pressure from both directions. He's a soft line yellow shirt. He's under pressure from much harder line yellow shirts. Also, he offered a deal. He set out his terms, and the red shirts proved unwilling after great delay and vacillation to abide by his terms. The problem with the deal that he offered is that it wasn't truly a reconciliation plan. It was merely some terms that could condition the political environment in the run-up to a November election. The problem is that it's not a plan that really has any hope of reconciling the country in the absence of an election sometime this year. So really there's a need for Abbasid to go back to the drawing board, and he's clearly dealing with red shirt leadership behind the scenes. I think those behind the scenes negotiations are going to need to intensify. It's difficult, however, when the red shirts are as divided as the yellow shirts clearly are.
It seems like it. Why doesn't the king step up here, Mike? I mean, in the past, we've had the king try to, I guess, quell the violence. And with the most deaths in 2 decades, why is he still not speaking up?
Thailand is a democracy with 60 million people and well-entrenched electoral norms. I think that it's become very clear that Thailand needs to follow electoral and political norms to find its way out of the crisis. The King of Thailand has been in the hospital since September. It's unclear what his condition is, and I think that we really need to rely on Thailand's 60 million people to solve this problem and not on one individual.
Okay, but the king in the past has had that power to unite the two sides. I mean, obviously, it seems like the country needs him more than ever right now, Mike.
I think that we need to have a much more sophisticated understanding of the role of the monarchy in Thai politics in the past 50 years. I think that it's important to understand that royal intervention has always come at a time when there's a viable solution that royal intervention can promote. Right now, there seems to be no viable solution in favor of which royal intervention could tip the balance.
Okay, Mike, I got a minute here for you, but what do you think is a likely outcome here? What's going to happen in the next few months? Are we going to see maybe more violence, and who's going to win this battle in the end?
Well, Thailand needs to find a way to hold elections and to live by the results of those elections. Thailand needs to find a way to relegate political competition to where it belongs, that is, between the opposition and the government in parliament. Failing that solution, brokered under some means, Thailand's in real trouble.
Okay, Mike, let's hope this gets resolved pretty soon. Thank you for your time. Mike Montesano
Thank
of
you.
the Institute of Southeast Asian Studies.